Okay. And so, what does this mean for the first son? I mean, say they were to accept the plea, which, as you said, a little bit unlikely, but let's just play out that scenario for a second. What would the what are the charge or what could the punishment be for Hunter?
Well, so in federal cases, the maximum punishments permitted by law are often quite harsh, many decades behind bars in federal prison. But the reality is that when people are sentenced, even people with prior convictions or many serious prior convictions, oftentimes, and in fact almost always, the actual resulting sentence, which is up to the sentencing judge, is far, far lower than the maximum possible sentence. So while Mr. Biden could legally be facing many decades in federal prison, the reality is that the judge likely will sentence him, if he is convicted either after trial or through any type of guilty plea, sentence him to far, far less than any maximum possible sentence.
Do you think that there's a chance that President Biden could pardon his son or commute his sentence?
There's certainly a chance, but my understanding is that President Biden has indicated that he does not plan to do to pardon Hunter for his conviction in Delaware federal court, or any conviction in this California in this federal case that's taking place right now in California. Now that's different than the legal analysis that I am usually involved with as a criminal defense attorney in Los Angeles. But obviously, I think with our former president and now our current president, pardons have been in the public dialogue quite a bit. And my understanding, at least, is that President Biden has made clear that it is not his plan, even though he would have the legal right to do so. It's not his plan to pardon his son for any conviction.
I know you're looking at this from a legal framework, but I just want to ask if you think at all that President Biden no longer being the nominee has at all impacted this trial, or if you think it would still be playing out all the same if his dad was running for a second term.
Well, I think that jurors, who are the ones who decide the outcome of a criminal trial, tend to take their jobs very seriously. And although we're all human and all have different approaches to interpreting evidence and following the law, for the most part, I believe that jurors, regardless of who the defendant is, take their job seriously and interpret the evidence carefully, pay attention to the testimony and the evidence as presented, and consider whether or not the government has proven its case beyond reasonable doubt. So in terms of the outcome of the trial, I don't think it would likely have any effect on the outcome of the trial, whether President Biden had decided to run for a second term, and now that he has withdrawn from that race, I don't think it will have any effect on how the jury, if a jury is impaneled, how the jury interprets the evidence and decides the case.